What is the duty to settle a claim? It actually seems a little counterintuitive when you think about it. How can someone have a duty to spend money to settle a claim? An insurance company does, though, and it makes sense when you think about it from the insurance company's perspective and from the insured's. From the carrier's perspective, it's a cost-benefit analysis. They take the risk of litigation and the cost and the potential of an adverse judgment, and they weigh it against the cost of the defense and the cost of settlement. So if you've got a claim that's $150,000 and the insurance company assesses the risk of actual judgment of $150,000, but the cost of the defense, the attorney's fees involved in a 2-year court trial process to be $200,000, that's all of a sudden a $350,000 claim. If the insurance company gets a settlement request at $75,000, it'll pay that settlement in a heartbeat because it makes sense to spend $75,000 versus $350,000. It especially makes sense for an insured when you've got a case of mixed claims. Remember, the insurance only covers the things it covers. And while the duty to defend a claim may include the duty to defend against all of the claims, the covered ones and the uncovered ones, settlement only includes the claims that are covered if it actually goes to judgment. So if you're an insured and you get a demand, a policy limit demand, or a demand within the amount of the policy, you really want the insurance company to settle that claim because it settles all of the claims, not just the covered ones, but the uncovered ones as well. Now, a policy limit demand is something that needs to be made in just the right way, and it needs to cover all of the risks involved in the lawsuit. And if an insurance company refuses a settlement offer because it's not a policy limit demand or it's made outside of the limits of the policy, that's not a bad faith act. One of the other things that you need to remember is that that risk goes both ways. We've got some clients who will say they're just angry at the insurance company because all it does is roll over and settle claims and it makes them a target, at least in the insured's mind. Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. There's a consent provision in most policies, which gives the insured the right to say, I agree to the settlement or I don't agree to the settlement. And so oftentimes an insured can tell the insurance company, don't settle. Fight it because the principle of the matter is more important. Here's the risk. That sword has two edges on it, and the insurance company may say to the insured, you've got a $500,000 policy. I have a $150,000 settlement offer. You've told me do not settle the case. Okay, the insured can take the risk of not settling because the insurance company can say, since I've got a deal where I can settle it for 150 grand, instead of giving the plaintiff the 150 grand, I'm giving it to you, the insured. And now my obligation to defend or settle is over. I've capped my risk at that 150 grand. And so the insured can stand on principle all day long with the $150,000 given to it by the insurance company. Doing that, tendering the amount of a settlement to the insured who refuses to agree to a settlement, is not a bad faith act. So you want to be careful how you deal with settlement demands. Settlement demands on a policy like an E&O policy are just one kind of duty to settle. Another kind of duty is with respect to an appraisal. And not necessarily a property appraisal, but any kind of insured injury appraisal. Let's say that you've got an office building and you've got a roof leak and it causes $200,000 worth of damage. And the insurance company looks at the reports from the contractors and says that it's going to pay $50,000 under the policy because that's all that's necessary to do the work, or that's how much they judge the loss to be worth. You can demand an independent appraisal of the loss and have that independent appraisal be used as support for your claim of bad faith against the insurance company. If you can demonstrate that the loss really was $200,000, you get $200,000. If you're not sure how to deal with a policy limit demand or a consent clause or an undervalued settlement by an insurance company, go get help. Go talk to someone who can give you some guidance. Come and talk to us.